Hi everyone, so I have a few stories for you. Number one, first of all, look at that sweet pose I had my girls get in. Miyu is like laughing and Hana is just like stumbling to get into the shot. Like, how cute are they? Anyway, the first thing is just a little explanation about what happened to the Dollfie Dream Eye video that never happened. Well, last night I gave myself a really bad stress headache, which I will get to later, which is why the video never uploaded last night. And then when I went to do it just like an hour ago or so, I realized I didn't have the right footage. So I ended up deleting the footage of me actually removing the hot glue from my Dollfie Dream's eyes. I used enamel thinner straight from Volks. I dabbed it onto the hot glue with a Q-tip. Then I took a butter knife and just chipped away at the hot glue, made a little hole in the hot glue. Then I was able to actually tear the hot glue out because I kept just applying and applying and applying enamel thinner. And it did take a number of minutes. It didn't happen super fast, but it wasn't like an hour-long process either. But I kept using the enamel thinner, which wore away at the glue. So then once I tore one side off, the other side came off a lot easier. I just kept dabbing the enamel thinner, worked away a little bit more with the butter knife, and it just peeled right off, which is awesome. There's a little bit of residue left in the eye. You can't see it. It's not hurting her, and her new eyes fit perfectly, so I'm okay with it. Then what happened was I was just going to upload a video of me just changing her eyes into the new ones, but that was a fail because the video was super blurry, and I just thought, no one's going to want to watch this. This isn't helpful to anyone. I'm not going to upload it, so when I change these green eyes to the violet eyes, I will show you when I do. And I am not spectacular at putting eyes in, so don't think you missed out on anything huge. But, I think this story's going to make up for it, because it's hilariously awful. So, my BJD nightmare experience is what I'm calling this. As you guys know, Miyuki, my super Dollfie graffiti girl, has been super floppy, and she just was begging for a restring, which I kind of realized that she didn't need a full restring. If only I understood how the body worked exactly, I would have been able to do this much easier, because though her arms are fine, I think they're not as tight as they were before, so I'm going to have to change that. But anyway, what ended up happening is I didn't have any instructions on how to restring my Super Dollfie Graffiti Girl, because in the No Winter Smile directions for restring, it has basically every doll but the Graffiti Girl. So I was like, oh great, I don't know how to restring this girl because the body's a little different. So I actually ended up emailing Volks, and they were so nice, and I don't know if they did this as a direct response to just my email, or because they thought, oh, we have had so many emails asking, let's do a tutorial, but they actually posted a tutorial just like a few days later, which was super awesome. So I followed that tutorial, and it worked really well, but I couldn't get the head back on because it uses a zip tie, and I really don't want to take her wig off and everything because I just took a lot of time posing her and doing everything, and I'm still bitter about what happened. But I'm going to show you this. It's really hard to see the zip tie, but maybe you can see it if I hold it up close. So, I don't know if you guys can see, like, right there where the tension is kind of coming from. Right there. There's a zip tie. It's just like a white little plastic piece that's pulled tight to give tension is how the head is taut and how the S-hook stays up. The problem with it is it doesn't, it's really hard to work, and it's a lot different than normal videos. I just threw the thing. But the real issue was that apparently Volks, I don't know if they had it wrong, or maybe that just doesn't work for everyone, but what Volks had on their tutorial about heads, which was like 2 pictures, and it really wasn't a detailed thing, didn't work. Because every time basically you're supposed to take the big part of the S-hook down here and loop it around the zip tie, and the small part rests up here. But what would happen is the zip tie would just fall, which meant her head would fall off. So I was really, really upset. My fingers hurt really bad from restringing her, and I was just in a terrible mood. I had a horrible stress headache. It took me an extra hour to an hour and a half just to try to get the head on, and it was just a mess. So I asked on Den of Angels, and someone was so sweet and kind, and they actually had the same problem, but they live right near Volk's. So they were able to go to the Volk store, and they helped them out. And they said that, I guess either they were wrong, or they had to do it a different way. Basically, they had to take the small part of the S-hook, so they flipped it, and snaked it around the zip tie, and then the elastic. And I guess, for some reason, the zip tie actually stays and will hold better behind the small part of the S-hook, which is awesome. And now her head fits great, and she's not super floppy. And that's just all I wanted in life. And now I'm really happy with her, and I think she looks so good in her new wig, and I love her so much. So I'm just so happy that she's put back together all proper and right. So that's my BJD nightmare experience, and I'm still really sad about it, and my hand still hurts, which is totally a reminder of it. But being a BJD owner is hard, huh?